This video is made for adult collectors because happy belated New Year. I took the New Year and the holidays off. There are so many Tarns now. Wow, amazing. 2026, I'm already messing up the first line. There are so many Tarns now. We used to be starving for Tarn figures, but now we have the likes of Mastermind Creations, Super 7, Hasbro, Yolopark, and Blockies. There's plenty of choice in those options: big transforming, retro style, small affordable, model kit, and this one, hyper articulated and hyper detailed. Now, I really like this thing, but it has one major issue that isn't related to this being pre-production, which, yes, this is a pre-production sample, so the tolerances are not final. I did not get final packaging on this either. It came in a blank white box. There's a smudge on my glasses. This was sent over by Yolopark. They have a wide range of Transformer items on their site, and this guy up for pre-order at the time of me writing this. They have plenty of other really cool things available too. You can check them out linked below, and if you use code TOYGUY, you can save 5% off your order. Some exclusions do apply. But thank you very much, Yolopark, for sending this my way. Now back to the actual toy. This thing looks incredible. Yolopark knocked it out of the park again with their deco work, with the realistic chips of paint that fooled my mom. She actually thought it arrived broken. She's like, oh, but there's paint missing. I'm like, it's supposed to look like that. I also like how they did the wash on this guy. It's a brown wash, not a black wash. You can really see it more in the thighs. They look a little dirty and a bit rusty, and I like that look. He is also very heavy, sporting diecast in the lower body and a lot of the figure's internal skeleton. I think my favorite visual portion of this figure, though, is the torso. There's a lot going on here. I love the angles of the chest plate, the details within the stomach area, and how the butterfly joint is the treads. Activating that also moves the chest plate forward, and all those large pieces shifting together feel a lot more robotic. The cannons on the back can also swivel back and forth. His head sculpt is great. I love the scratched up mask look, but if you also want a clean mask, you do get that with the figure, so, you know, it's up to your preference. And there is his actual face underneath. Spoilers for those who haven't read IDW. His eyes do also light up, and they can be seen very well from behind the mask. Ow, why are they flashing so much? He comes with his massive cannon, which looks pretty epic. And you get the traditional Yolopark stand with the bendy wire in it. And then these pieces. What are these? This did take me a while to figure out what these were, because I also didn't get instructions. But if you want to just have two normal arms, these are filler sections for the cannon, or if you want to plug the cannon into the other arm, there's the piece for that as well. So that's super neat if you want to like mix and match. I'll get to my big issue in a sec, but first, one more accessory, if you could call it an accessory. Nickel. Yep, this comes with its very own nicely painted nickel figure. The metallic sheen is super lush, not to mention the same level of wash and damage to Tarn is also here on Yolopark. That's not how I wrote that at all. Not to mention the same level of wash and damage to the toy. She comes with all of her tools that I thought were going to be loose fitting on her belt and fall off, but no, these are actually, they go on easy, but they have a lot of grip to them. They're not going to fall out or sway. You also get a stand for her, which you kind of need because unfortunately her feet are sculpted weird and she has a very specific way to stand, which doesn't seem to work for me. So I just plug her onto the stand and call it a day. Now the thing I don't like, the shoulders. So the arms are inside the treads, and the treads can move out of the way to allow for posing. Here's Yolopark's TF1 Optimus Prime, for example. See how the shoulder pad works? It moves at the top and is attached to the section of the shoulder between the arm and the body, so it doesn't get in the way. Here it's kind of similar, but instead of being attached between the arm and the body, it's attached at the farthest end of the shoulder, meaning that when you move the shoulder pad out, that part that's attached to the shoulder comes closer to the body and then pushes the arm right out of its socket. I've had this fall off a lot now. Now, again, it's probably not going to be as bad when the final one comes out, as mine's pre-production. The arms are a little loose, so that's to be expected. Like, the final will have better tolerances. But I feel like it would have been better to just attach the shoulder pads at the base of the shoulder rather than on the outside. I find it's easier to get the shoulder pads out of the way first, or just take the arms off, move the shoulder pads, and then plug the arms back in. That way the arms aren't falling off on you. It pops right back on because it is a model kit, but yeah, it's still a wee bit strange. Maybe if the shoulder peg was also a bit longer, that would help because they are quite short. Other than that, the articulation is pretty good, if a bit weird. My Age of the Primes brawl should be here any minute now, and I'm very excited. Unlike most Yolopark figures, this guy's articulation is good, but is actually really awkward to mess with. Not just in the shoulders, there are other parts as well that just feel a little bit weird. Some of it is like it's too tight because pre-production copy, and like, you know, some of the joints will be a little bit more finalized when this thing comes out. But even still, with that being said, there are some bits that just feel weird to me. So to start with, the head is on a double joint. There's a joint at the base of the neck and a joint at the top. So you get some really nice tilt, some very good down, some very good up, and rotation. If you do grab the head at the top though, the mask does just pop off, but that's, you know, just don't grab it here, grab it here. You have the, well, this is on a hinge as well as this tread part, so you get that butterfly joint going on there. The shoulders can do a full 360, and then as you saw, they can go out, but you have to like move all of this first down, which is, and there goes the arm, it just fell right off. You just take all that, move it down, and then you bend this out. And that's as far as the arms go outward, which is a little unfortunate. He can't do a full T-pose, and I really feel like if they just done the shoulder pad differently, where they attached it here rather than back here, you would have been able to get a full T out of it. Not to mention this wouldn't then press up against here and push the arm right off. But you do have a bicep rotation. You have double jointed elbows, and then the wrists are on a ball joint. The arm has come off again. The wrists are on a ball joint, and you get a ball joint at the thumb and a hinge. And then it's a 3-finger trigger finger split with 2 hinges. So you can get like, he can do a fist, or he can point at you, because pointing's rude and Tarn's rude. I don't know. There's actually quite a bit going on in the torso. I'm literally just gonna take these off so they don't keep falling off. But you have a waist joint. This one's a little loose. Again, pre-production. That's probably not gonna be like that on the final. You get that far of an ab crunch, which is awesome, as well as new back detail gets exposed, which I think is very cool. I love when companies do that. But you get such a nice ab crunch, and this moves out of the way a little bit to accommodate for an even deeper bend, which is really great. And then you get some side to side. Not a lot. I wish there was a little bit more side to side, but you do get some at the top of the torso there. Nothing at the bottom, but you do get a little bit at the top. The back hip skirt can move up and down. It's a single piece. This one can shift a little bit, and then these little hip skirt pieces are on ball joints, so they can get out of the way. And the hips are drop down hips, but they're all at the back, not at the front. Most Yolopark figures, they come from the front, but this one comes from the back. It's just kind of funny. So the hips can go forward that far. They can go back that far. You get your full splits. You get your thigh rotation. Now you do get a full bend at the knee, and the way that it does all the knee pad stuff is very cool. I like the subtle shift of this thing, as well as all this new detail exposed here in this entire chunk of metal. That is one big chunk of metal. It's awesome. But you get a full bend at the knee, and then the ankles. This is the other awkward bit. So you get a little bit of an ankle tilt. This can move out of the way. You get forward foot movement and toe articulation up and down. But if you want more movement out of this, you have to stretch it out. It's on like a very subtle double hinge, so that gives you a little bit more tilt and more forward and more back. But if you're not careful, right, you could like just start taking the foot off. So it is just a little bit weird. It makes posing the feet slightly awkward. So he has all the range and all the joints, but I just wish, ow, my elbow, that hurt a lot actually, ow. I do wish the shoulders were better, and I wish the ankles were a little bit easier to use. Otherwise, everything on him is great. Then there's Nickel. So Nickel's head is on a ball joint. You don't really get much tilt because of the stuff around her head, but like, you know, a little awkward to move, but you do get that full 360 and very nice up and down. The shoulders are on ball joints. They only really go out about that far because all this stuff bumps into here, but you do get that full rotation. You have a bicep rotation and a 90-degree bend at the elbow, plus the wrists are on ball joints. I need to take her off the stand. She does have a waist joint and drop down hips. So the hips they can come right off is what they can do. They can go that far forward and that far back and then in and out. There is no thigh rotation. There is above the knee rotation. So that's where it rotates and then comes off. This is a model kit. It's supposed to do this. But you do get 90 degrees of bend at the knee and then nothing at the feet. Now, the stand, if I can get all the tools. Oh, there goes the leg. Get that plug back in there. Her articulation is pretty fine.
So yeah, this is a great Tarn. However, that arm thing is a bit too rough in my books. It makes the figure as a whole less inviting unless you want to take your time and maybe take the arms off, pre-pose them, then put them back on to save on the annoyance. Because other than that, the paint, the feel, the accessories, Nickel, they're all great. Again, this is linked below if you do want one. I do still like it. I just wish those shoulders were done way better. But that's my look at Yolopark Tarn. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.